If you're about to get your wisdom teeth pulled out, please do yourself a favor and watch this video. Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. I will be talking about my wisdom tooth story and also giving tips throughout this video. So please stay tuned. I'll be posting more consistently on YouTube. So please hit that subscribe button if you want more content, because I promise you that is coming. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with my wisdom tooth story, which was pretty terrifying to say the least for me. 3 weeks ago, I had very sharp pain in like my upper right area right there, and I wasn't sure what caused it. I honestly thought it might have just been like inflammation or something that's swollen, but it was pretty sharp pain. So if any of you guys are kind of experiencing sharp-ish pain, especially when you bite down, hint hint, might be time to get your wisdom teeth moved. So you really want to make sure you watch this video. Anyways, back to the story. I went to the dentist and the dentist literally checked it out and she's like, girl, we're pulling out your wisdom tooth like right away, because apparently my tooth was infected, and it was infected because wisdom teeth come in at like a angle, and what tends to happen is like food gets stuck in between the little cracks, and then it accumulates and then it starts to decay your teeth. So essentially that's what causes a lot of the pain. So she extracted my tooth right there and that did not hurt. But don't worry, I will get into why that didn't hurt in the second half of this video. So fast forward to 2 weeks ago, so a week after I got this tooth pulled out, I was like, oh, no sweat, like this one didn't hurt at all. It's not gonna be a big deal. My appointment was 10 a.m. on a Sunday and I woke up pretty late and I didn't eat breakfast. So dumb of me. They had to cut in to my gums because these teeth were very, very, very deep and they were bigger than my top teeth. So essentially that surgical procedure took like an hour per tooth, and I was not under any anesthesia or anything like that. They just froze my gums. My gums were completely frozen. The most I felt was pressure, and that pressure is not painful. It's just very like uncomfortable, I would probably say. So fast forward to about 3 hours after the surgical procedure was done and the freezing was wearing off. You already know. The pain, you guys, that I felt was, I wasn't expecting it, because as I already mentioned, when I had this tooth pulled out literally a week prior to these two, I was fine. I literally ate normal food like 4 to 5 hours after. There is a reason for that, and I will be talking about that in the tips coming up in like about a minute. But yeah, I was in pain, I had a headache, and be mindful, you probably will have headaches because anytime there's pressure to your jaw, there's a direct link up to your like temples and like your frontal lobe. So expect to have headaches. For the juicy stuff, probably the stuff you guys are here for, it's the tips. Tip number one, when you know you have to get your wisdom tooth pulled out, please go to your dentist and ask them to do an x-ray, because there is a difference in recovery time when a tooth is either protruding or if it's not. So for example, in the x-ray that I had done, my upper tooth was already protruding. Therefore, the upper tooth was already kind of out. Like I could probably kind of see a little bit of like the white tooth popping out of my gums. It means that the surgical procedure will probably be like less than 20 minutes, because it's already to the surface and the dentist won't really need to spend too much time trying to dig it out. And that also means that your recovery time will naturally be shorter because the dentist didn't have to like dig into your gums. So that's why my upper tooth wasn't as painful recovery wise, and I was able to eat. Now, my bottom two teeth were kind of at an angle, like an inward angle, and they were deep. They were deep and they were big and they were not protruding, and we could see that on the x-ray. In the case that your teeth are protruding and they're like the upper ones, because it's usually the upper ones, your recovery time will probably be somewhere between like 3 to 4 days. For me, it was like 1 to 2 days. But if your teeth are kind of at an awkward angle and they're not really protruding, they're just kind of like pushing your other teeth in and they need to get out, but they're deep, usually the bottom ones, expect a recovery time of like 6 to 7 days and expect to be in a little bit of pain. And I'm not trying to scare you guys, I'm just trying to prepare you guys, and I really wish someone had told me this because I'm an idiot and I didn't even eat breakfast before going, and that would have been my last proper meal for at least a solid week. So don't eat. Number 2, you will need to rest. It is an actual surgical procedure. Do not underestimate it just because you're like awake and not actually like in the hospital. It's still a surgical procedure, and like every other surgical procedure, you do need rest. Your body needs the rest. So you're gonna wanna send work an email, take some days off, figure out your school stuff, and just kind of let your family and loved ones know that like, hey, I'm not gonna be emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically available for the next week because I'm gonna be in pain. Tip number 3, you're gonna be given antibiotics. So this was my antibiotics, jam, amoxicillin, it's fine, I butchered it. These are antibiotics that your dentist will give you, and if they don't, then it's fine, don't worry about it, but most likely you're gonna get antibiotics. This is so important. There can be infection that can get caused by that big empty hole that's kind of there, and even if the dentist stitches it up, there is chances that like food can still go in, and if food goes in, it is so painful and it causes like a bacterial infection. So if you take these, you will. I also was prescribed codeine because my pain was so bad. And it's actually, this goes back to tip number 1 about how you need, or sorry, tip number 2 about how you need so much rest. The codeine, you guys, will make you very sleepy. It also numbs the pain, but that also because it just numbs everything else. So you will be tired, you'll be sleeping. So yeah, just a fair warning. I went and got the Tylenol extra strength because the codeine is going to only be enough for about 3 days after, because as you know, codeine can be super addicting, or sorry, codeine can be. That was tip number 4. I should probably be a little bit more organized with my life, especially as I'm like recording and Tip number 5. This tip over here is the most important tip, I think personally, because it relaxed my gums instantly. So you want to make sure 3 times a day, or even 4 times, I think 3 to 4 times a day, you do warm salt water rinses. So essentially after every meal that you eat, and be mindful that you're not really going to be eating any solids. You're going to be having a bunch of, so you're going to grab a teaspoon of salt, you're going to put it into the warm water cup, twirl it around, and you're going to put it in your mouth, and you're going to swish that around for at least 30 seconds. And you're going to do that 3 to 4 times a day. This will basically clean out any bacteria that may have started to already settle in your mouth. And at this stage, you really like want to make sure, like especially 3 to 4 days after your surgery, your mouth is clean. But you need to do it in a very comfortable manner. You can't be rough with your teeth, because if you do have stitches, you want to make sure they don't like come out. You want to make sure you don't hit yourself. No. Tip number 6, I think it is. If I'm wrong, whatever. But tip number 6 comes to brushing. So actually brushing the areas back here. And although it might sound gross, for the first 3 to 4 days, trust me, you won't even want to open your mouth. You literally won't even want to. So when you're brushing, brush your teeth, of course, but when it comes to back here, just leave it. And the salt water rinses and the antibiotics will be taking care of that area. So you should be fine. But for the first 3-4 days, just try to brush like around the molar and not up here, because you do not want to irritate it and call dry socket. I repeat, you do not want to irritate it. Number 6. This is also another very important tip. It is called the 3-finger tip. So what happens when your tongue has gone through certain trauma, your mouth has gone through trauma, which tends to happen to everyone because your mouth has been open for so long while the dentist is just in there like scooping out your like tooth and your blood and like gums, and I don't even talk about it. But so you get this thing called like your mouth is basically under trauma. What happens is that your mouth is already super sore because your jaw is super sore, your mouth is hurting, and you can't open your mouth at all. So like literally, you guys, I was not able to open my mouth more than this. That's it. And so what you have to do and to be super mindful of is that you're gonna 3 times a day, from the day you get your wisdom teeth pulled out, right away essentially, you're gonna grab 3 fingers, you're gonna go like this, and you're gonna open your mouth, and you're gonna wanna make sure your mouth can open up around that, so like this. That's how wide you have to be able to open it. And I know it sounds silly right now because you haven't, or like maybe you haven't gotten your wisdom teeth pulled out and you're not sure what type of pain to expect. It's sore. You cannot, like, opening your mouth is gonna hurt, but you're gonna want to make sure you keep exercising those muscles, or else they won't recover as quickly and you will probably have longer lasting pain. And the objective of this whole video is for me to give you tips on not having longer lasting pain. So listen to me and do the 3-finger tip 3 times a day, starting right away. Do with food. Your dentist will probably also give you a rundown on this, but please do not even attempt to try solid foods. Stay away from nuts, walnuts, anything hard, granola, none of that. What you can have are like smoothies, you can have mushed up bananas, you can have soup, you can have rice noodles, basically only soft stuff. But you're gonna wanna make sure you also eat before going into your appointment. That's the rookie mistake that I made. I didn't eat properly, and then I was already struggling to eat after that, and I was just starving. And like when I'm hungry, it contributes more to my headaches. So you can imagine I was like not a very pleasant person to be around at all. I feel bad for how bitchy I was being, but I was so hungry and I had a headache, so whatever. But to make sure that you're not like that, make sure you have a proper meal before you go to your dentist. And also make sure you're stacked up on your soups, your noodles, your smoothies, and you have just like soft foods available. And you're gonna be eating that for at least a few days after wisdom teeth removal, because trust me, it's gonna hurt. Sorry, I'm not trying to scare anyone. It's gonna be a little sore is what I'm trying to say. So you're gonna wanna make sure you have that all ready to go. I think that pretty much concludes everything. I wanna share with you guys some of the clips that I took of myself on days 1, 2, and 3, just so you guys are kind of, you know, a little bit more prepared about the whole surgical procedure and what to expect and what you're gonna look like. So without further ado, roll the clip! Shit. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm like Humpty Dumpty. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope that video was useful for you guys. And if some of you guys are about to go get your wisdom tooth pulled out, you're fully prepared and it won't be that bad, I promise. Good luck. And if you did like this video, then please subscribe. I have 7 subscribers right now.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Like and subscribe and share too.
Subscribe and share. You're right. Pound it. I'm gonna be posting more consistently, I promise. So anyways, have an amazing day.